the debt department. Thank goodness we have Paul Heenan here. Now, this is really fascinating. You are with a company which you and others used to be collection managers. So you used to be on the flip side, the ones giving those, dreaded calls, saying, we need your money.
That's correct.
So you really know firsthand what the rights are of us, those who are being approached, because a lot of times people will abuse those, and it's intimidation is what it is.
That's correct. Yeah, all of our associates are well versed on the Collections Practices Acts. We've all been on the other side. We were either on the phone making those calls, or we were managing staff to instruct them to make the calls.
So let's talk about our rights. First one, how many times can they actually call and make that contact?
Well, it depends on the province that you're in, but generally speaking, in Ontario, the Collections Practices Act says that you can have 3 contacts per week. And a contact can be either a message left on a machine, or you've actually spoken to the consumer. As far as the calls being made, people will notice on their phone display, they'll get 6, 7 calls a day, but there may not be any messages at all.
So it's only if the message is left, there is actual contact with you receiving the call on the other end, 3 times a week.
That's correct.
Now, if they abuse that, what do you do?
Well, they've got other, alternative solutions. I mean, they can, go and take a look at what the Collections Practices Act is for their province, or at the worst case scenario, they can contact the ministry and register a complaint.
Register a complaint, and that should probably stave off that action. Up next, the times and days that they are allowed to call. It begins at 7 a.m. and carries through till 9 p.m. So if they're calling any earlier or later than that, again, you can go and report.
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay, what about consolidating? You think that's a good idea?
Consolidation loans, they're a good idea. The problem with a consolidation loan is that you get real comfortable with those monthly payments. Then what happens is you start getting offers with other credit cards, so you could quickly find yourself in that same financial mess. We call it the merry-go-round of debt. So you get comfortable with the consolidation loan. Now you've got more credit cards coming in, more offers coming in from the creditors. It's real easy to spend, and now you're back into the vicious cycle. So
your advice is, when you have that consolidated loan, just treat it for what it is. Get rid of that first before thinking about spending. So how do you cut when you're used to living a certain lifestyle? What do you recommend, or what are the areas that you see work really well with people?
Well, what they need to do is just stop spending. They need to stop relying on credit. I know it's difficult because we get a lot of stories from people that, they have kids in hockey, and when they're going off to, somewhere, it could be London, it could be Cambridge, and they need a place to stay. Well, they have to rely on that credit card to be able to book a hotel. Well, the bottom line is they really need to stop spending on credit. They need to rely on cash to get them through.
Yeah, and every story really is different, which is why you really recommend this consultation, where you sit down and you have their profile out so that you can really assess and analyze where they're spending, how much debt they have, and what is unique to them to get rid of it, and see what's feasible in terms of the monthly payments.
Well, yeah, that's correct. I mean, the Vandy Institute just came out with a stat that says, the average household income debt ratio right now is at 150%. So really, when you start looking at that, people just do not have the money at the end of the month. And what they're doing is relying on credit cards. So we'll get stories where people will say, well, I've got great credit, I'm making those minimum payments. But the bottom line is, the first question I ask is, are you using credit cards to get you through the end of the month? And if the answer is yes, I believe that they're headed for trouble. You
have a problem, and you need to check out this website, totaldebtfreedom.ca. Check out their Facebook page as well. So that's totaldebtfreedom.ca. And you've seen a lot of people chip away at it and finally rid themselves of it. And what a stress-free thing that is, huh?
Yeah, if you take a look at our website at totaldebtfreedom.ca, you're going to see some, if you're a part of Facebook, you're going to see some awesome testimonials out there of people who are just raving fans. They'll talk about, the fears that they had when they first started, they first made that call, and how happy they are to be completely out of debt.
If they can do it, we all can. Yay! Right now, over to Kevin Frankers in the newsroom. He's very good with stuff like this. Very good.
Thank you.